A notorious criminal escapes from prison and immediately launches a relentless streak of bank robberies. The FBI initiates a massive manhunt, but no matter how hard they try, they fail at every turn. Instead of slowing down, the robber grows even more fearless, raiding banks across the city, stealing millions of dollars, and openly mocking law enforcement while roaming the streets in disguise. The big question remains, will the FBI finally catch him, or is there a deeper mystery waiting to be revealed? Inspired by true events, the film opens in an Indiana prison. John Dillinger is seen being arrested and brought back to jail. But here is the twist, the man arresting him isn't a cop. He is John's friend Hamilton, disguised as an officer. John had already escaped days earlier, but his gang was still locked inside. Their plan? Fake an arrest to break the crew out from the inside. Inside the prison's clothing unit, the gang smuggles in pistols hidden within cartons of thread. Once armed, they overpower the guards in a violent takeover. By the time the alarms scream and gunfire erupts, it's already too late. Despite casualties on both sides, John and his crew vanish into the night. They head straight to Chicago, where John meets Anna. Anna lives a double life, working secretly with the FBI while running illegal businesses on the side. Bound by mutual necessity, she and John share a hidden dangerous connection. Soon after, the gang storms a Chicago bank. When the manager claims he can't find the vault keys, John puts a gun to his head. Terrified, the manager complies and the gang stuffs bags with cash. As they exit, the police arrive, sparking a fierce shootout. Taking hostages as human shields, the gang escapes, eventually abandoning them deep within a forest. These repeated humiliations damage the reputation of American law enforcement. In a high-stakes emergency meeting, the FBI assigns the case to Agent Purvis, a man legendary for capturing the most dangerous criminals. Meanwhile, John celebrates his success. When a gang member suggests kidnapping wealthy citizens, John refuses. He's a man of principle, he believes in bold bank robberies, not harming civilians. During this time, he meets Billy. Though he initially hides his identity, he eventually confesses, asterisk, I'm John Dillinger. I rob banks. Billy is shocked, but captivated by his honesty and confidence. But the net is closing in. The FBI uncovers a coded clue that leads Agent Purvis to trace John's location. Through phone tapping, they overhear a call between John and Harry Berman, a garage owner who provides clean cars for robberies. Purvis learns that John is headed to a specific hotel to switch vehicles. John arrives at the hotel with Billy, unaware that Purvis and his team are already moving floor by floor. Suddenly, a shot rings out and an FBI officer falls. In the ensuing chaos and crossfire, John slips through the shadows, disappearing down a staircase and into the night. The chase is far from over. The hotel air turns thick with lead. A brutal gunfight erupts, but Dillinger and his crew are ghosts in the smoke. They punch through to the other side of the building, tires screeching as they vanish into the night. It's only then that Agent Purvis realizes his fatal mistake. The man whose ID he had just checked wasn't a bystander. He was one of John's own men. The FBI under fire. Days later, the audacity of John Dillinger reaches a breaking point. In broad daylight, his crew storms another bank, guns drawn, holding the entire room at a cold standstill. They empty the vaults and vanish before the sirens can even get close. Purvis's phone rings. It's his superior, and the voice on the other end is laced with fury. They slipped right through your fingers, Purvis. Another bank hit, another failure. As an FBI agent, how can you let this happen? Purvis doesn't make excuses. He takes the full weight of the failure on his shoulders. He looks his boss in the eye and demands reinforcements. Asterisk. I need experienced men. This isn't a common gang. They are smart, they are lethal, and if we don't change our tactics, my entire team will end up in body bags. The FBI responds by deploying a squad of special agents. Their mission is singular, cold, and absolute: bring down John Dillinger, dead or alive. A moment of peace, a trap of steel. Meanwhile, flush with cash from his latest heist, John takes Billy to the horse races. The atmosphere is festive, but Billy's heart is heavy. She leans in, her voice trembling with love and fear. Give this up, John. Eventually they will catch you. And when they do, what becomes of me? John just smiles, that famous, cocky Dillinger smile. Don't you worry about those cops. They can't touch me. And even if they do, no cage in this world can hold me. His confidence is his armor. They retreat to a hotel, seeking a moment of normalcy. But the FBI is already there, tipped off by a secret source. In a sudden, overwhelming strike, They swarm the building. This time, there is no escape. John Dillinger is finally in handcuffs. The confrontation. Locked behind bars, the air between John and Purvis is electric. John mocks him. We'll be seeing each other on the streets again very soon. Purvis leans in, his face like stone. The only thing you're going to see is the gallows. We've got you now. John laughs. You caught me because I was alone. But I know exactly how to play the game with agents like you. The game is over, John, Purvis retorts. Tonight, you're being transferred to Indiana State Prison. John's eyes twinkle with mischief. Indiana? There aren't any banks in Indiana. What am I supposed to do there? Purvis doesn't flinch. Just stay alive until the execution. Enjoy the cell while you can. The hero's welcome. That night, as the transport arrives in Indiana, a strange sight awaits. John Dillinger isn't arriving like a criminal. He's arriving like a movie star. Crowds of people line the streets, waving, cheering, and shouting his name. To the law, he is a menace, but to the people, he is a folk hero. The courtroom gambit. In Indiana, the league begins. John has secured a high-profile, silver-tongued lawyer who knows exactly how to play the system. While the prosecution pushes for a swift trial and a death sentence, John's lawyer weaves a web of complex arguments, successfully delaying the final verdict by a full month. The lawyer knows the truth. John doesn't need a legal victory, he just needs time to plan his next vanishing act. The warden's car. John Dillinger is a legend among convicts, and even in Indiana's toughest cell block, he has eyes and ears. One morning, a cleaner enters his cell. In a flash, John overpowers him. Using weapons smuggled in by his inside connections, John launches a lightning-fast assault on the armory. With heavy firepower now in his hands, he reaches the parking lot. He doesn't just steal any car, he hijacks the warden's personal vehicle at gunpoint. He drives right out of the main gate, in plain sight. The guards don't even blink, assuming it's the warden on his way out. By the time they realize the cell is empty, the engine's roar is already miles away. The phone call, safe for the moment, John calls Billy. Her voice is frantic. Don't come to Chicago, John. The FBI is everywhere. They're watching me. Go far away. But John's arrogance is his trademark. If the FBI had the power to stop me, they would have done it by now, he scoffs. He gives her a secret location. Wait for me. In a few days, we're moving to a quiet place far from this city. Just us. What John doesn't know is that Agent Purvis is listening. Every word, every location is being recorded. The trap is being set. The bloodbath at the bank. Before disappearing with Billy, John decides on one last score. His crew storms another bank, but this time, the air feels different. As they exit with the cash, a hail of bullets greets them. A brutal shootout erupts with the bank guards. Several of John's men are cut down in the street. As backup sirens wail in the distance, John manages to flee, but one of his associates is captured, clinging to life. Purvis arrives on the scene, cold and relentless. He tortures the dying man until he finally breaks. The location is revealed, a secluded safe house owned by one of John's friends. The siege in the woods. Purvis and a squad of elite agents surround the safe house under the cover of darkness. As they take their positions, a car pulls away from the building. Thinking it's John, the agents open fire, lighting up the night. Inside the house, John and his friend hear the chaos. They don't panic, they reload. From the windows, they rain lead down on the FBI. It's an all-out war. Realizing they are pinned down, John shouts for a break. They dive through a back window, sprinting into the thick darkness of the forest. One of John's friends manages to gun down an agent, hijacks a pursuit vehicle, and pulls up just as John emerges from the tree line. They pile in, tires spitting gravel, but the FBI is already on their bumper. The high-speed chase through the wilderness has begun. Public enemies, the untouchable king of crime. The legal war and the wooden gun. Once in Indiana, the courtroom becomes a theater of war. John isn't just a criminal, he's a strategist. He hires the most elite defense attorney money can buy. While the prosecution screams for a swift execution, John's lawyer weaves a web of legal technicalities, successfully pushing the final verdict back by an entire month. The prosecution thinks they've won a delay. John knows he's won his freedom. Behind those iron bars, John is never truly alone. Every prison is filled with men who admire him, and his reach extends even into the shadows of the cell blocks. One morning, a cleaner enters John's cell. In a flash of violence, John overpowers him. Rumor has it he used a pistol smuggled in by his connections, or perhaps, as the legends say, a piece of wood carved into the shape of a gun and blackened with shoe polish. Using his captives as shields, John storms the armory, grabs heavy firepower, and heads for the yard. In the ultimate act of defiance, he hijacks the warden's personal car. He drives right out the front gate, past guards who salute the vehicle, unaware that the nation's most wanted man is behind the wheel. John Dillinger hasn't just escaped, he has embarrassed the entire state of Indiana. The lover's trap, safely away, John calls Billy. Her voice is frantic, a jagged edge of panic. Don't come to Chicago, John. Stay away. The FBI has eyes on me. They're everywhere. But John's arrogance is his greatest strength and his fatal flaw. Relax, Billy, he chuckles. If the FBI had the power to stop me, they would have kept me in that cage. Just wait a few more days. I'm going to take you to a place where the world can't find us. Little do they know, Agent Purvis is sitting in a dark room, headphones on, listening to every word. The trap is being set. The bloodbath at the bank. John gathers his remaining crew for another high-stakes heist. They hit the bank with clinical precision, but as they exit with the loot, the world explodes. The bank guards don't back down this time. A ferocious gunfight tears through the street. Bodies fall on both sides, and as the sound of distant sirens grows into a roar, John's crew is forced to retreat. They leave behind a trail of blood and one of their own, half dead and gasping for air. Agent Purvis arrives on the scene like a vulture. He doesn't want a confession, he wants a location. After a brutal, relentless interrogation, the dying gangster finally breaks. He whispers a location, a secluded safe house in the woods belonging to one of John's associates. The siege at Little Bohemia. Purvis and his elite squad of agents descend on the hideout under the cover of darkness. As they move into position, a car pulls away from the building. Panic flares, the agents open fire, thinking it's John. Inside the house, John and his friends are jolted awake by the rhythm of machine gun fire. They don't surrender. They return fire from the windows, turning the quiet forest into a kill zone. The walls of the cabin are shredded by federal lead. John realizes the house is a coffin. We move now, or we die here, he shouts. Under the cover of a frantic shootout, John and his partner leap through a rear window, vanishing into the thick timber of the forest. One of John's men sprints through the woods, ambushes a lone agent, and hijacks a government vehicle. He circles back, tires throwing dirt into the air, and John dives into the car. They roar away into the night, but the headlights of the FBI are already swinging behind them. The chase isn't just a manhunt anymore, it's a war of attrition. John turns to Anna and suggests a night out, a simple movies. Anna agrees, but the betrayal is already in motion. She secretly tips off Agent Purvis. The trap is set at the Biograph Theater. As John and Anna step into the dimly lit cinema, Purvis and his elite squad take their positions outside. The tension among the federal agents is suffocating. They know the risks. When the movie ends, a sea of innocent bystanders will flood the street. If John spots them in the crowd, it'll be a bloodbath. The agents scatter, blending into the shadows, their eyes locked on the exit, waiting for the man of the hour. The final scene. Inside the theater, the projector flickers. John is completely absorbed in the film, his guard finally down for the first time in years. But beside him, Anna is a ghost. She can't watch the screen. Her eyes dart back and forth, tracking the exits, counting the minutes, until the man she is sitting with becomes a target. The lights come up. The audience begins to spill out onto the sidewalk. Purvis catches a glimpse of the familiar silhouette. It's him. The signal is given. The agents close in like wolves. One agent gets close, his finger trembling on the trigger, but as John senses the shadow and glances back, the agent freezes in fear. John knows. He feels the cold breath of the law on his neck. He reaches into his pocket, his hand closing around his pistol, but he isn't fast enough. Before he can turn, another agent fires. A single, deafening shot echoes through the street. John Dillinger collapses onto the pavement. As the life drains out of him, John begins to whisper. The agent who fired the shot leans in, pressing his ear to John's lips to catch his final dying words. Then, the most famous outlaw in America goes silent forever. The message from the grave. The scene is instantly swarmed by the media, flashbulbs popping like gunfire. But away from the chaos, the agent who pulled the trigger seeks out Billy. Billy already knows. The news has traveled fast, and her world has shattered. She looks at the man who killed the only person she ever loved with eyes full of grief and rage. I heard you're the one who shot him, she says, her voice cracking. Did you come here to watch me suffer? To see the pain you've caused? The agent stands there, his expression somber, holding a secret that only he and a dead man share. No, he replies quietly. Billy stares at him, her heart breaking. Then why are you here? Dying message. The agent stands before Billy, his voice low and steady. He looks her in the eye and says, asterisk. As John lay there on the pavement, he whispered something. I leaned in close to hear his final words. Billy holds her breath, the world around her standing still. The agent continues, asterisk, he told me. Tell Billy I couldn't keep her with me until the end. Bye bye, Blackbird. As the words sink in, the walls Billy built around her heart finally crumble. Tears stream down her face, uncontrolled and raw. John Dillinger was a man the world called a monster, a cold-blooded thief and a ghost in the night. But to her, he was the man who loved her with a loyalty that lasted until his very last breath. They had dreamed of a life far away from the sirens and the bullets, a life of peace they were never meant to have. The aftermath, truth behind the legend. The screen fades to black as the echoes of that final message linger. But the story doesn't end with the movie. History tells a darker, more haunting tale of what happened to those left behind. Agent Purvis, the man who finally brought Dillinger down, found no peace in his victory. Haunted by the shadows of the manhunt, he resigned from the FBI just 1 year later. In 1960, the man who hunted the nation's greatest outlaw took his own life. Billie Frechette was released from prison in 1936. She moved to Wisconsin, where she spent the remainder of her days in quiet solitude, carrying the memory of the Blackbird until her death. Anna Sage, the woman in red, who betrayed John, was eventually deported back to Romania, never receiving the permanent residency she was promised for her betrayal. And so ends the saga of John Dillinger, America's most infamous gangster, a man who lived by the gun, died by the bullet, and left behind a legacy of blood, gold, and a love that even death couldn't erase.